Vexx, huh? I remember really liking this game when I was a kid, and I remember my brother hated it. He hates a lot of things that I like. So let's play it!
This is Vexx. You play as Vexx, a very angry little man with the meanest pair of gloves I've ever seen. This game was developed by Acclaim Studios in 2003, then in September of the very next year, Acclaim was defunct after filing Chapter 7 bankruptcy. The story begins with a peaceful village living in peace, then suddenly evil! The people are enslaved by the antagonist of the game, a shadow wraith named Yabu. Eventually, Vexx gets mad and fights back, but Yabu stops him, and a pickaxe gets stuck in the wall and Yabu decides, "I'ma kill your grandpa instead!" Then Vexx, out for revenge, goes into Yabu's ship and finds the legendary Astani War Talons that can apparently blow up flying boats. Now you have the tutorial that teaches you how to jump, long jump, high jump, and how to swim and fight. Then you wake up in the real world where you meet an old man named Darby who tells you everyone's dead except you and him. Then he tells you how to find Yabu and get your revenge, which leads us to the core of the game. Following the formula of Super Mario 64, but instead of happy little stars, you'll be collecting hearts. Disembodied, anatomically correct, still beating hearts.
Because I'm so edgy and cool. I dropped it.
Each level has a handful of hearts to search for. There are hearts for platforming challenges, puzzles, and each stage has one that's split into 100 shards and one for collecting 6 soul jars. Some of them are very well hidden, and some can only be obtained through questionable methods. And of course, there's a few combat challenges that get some. Hey! That sumo wrestler just flipped me off! Take that! As soon as I actually get to play, my first instinct was to jump into the fire. I like to see if the developers went the extra mile to protect me from my own stupidity, and in this case, no, they did not. But it works out very well for me because you're supposed to do that to unlock the magma suit power-up that makes you invincible for a short time while you Naruto run through enemies while building momentum to move faster and faster. After you leave the room you wake up in, you find yourself in Timberdale, the first level of the game, running around looking for hearts, beating up these weird orange things, and what look like aliens with flaming heads. Once you have 2 hearts, you unlock the second level, Dragon Reach. Once there, you'll start running into these flying guys that can be very hard to hit sometimes. Then when you get up on the giant dragon skeleton's back, you'll want to jump off to reach this teleport pad to reach the air suit power-up. That lets you fly for a short time, but you will lose your wings if you touch the wall or the ground, and it can be very hard to control when moving fast. Each part has a riddle to give you a hint as to what you're supposed to do to get them. I don't know about you, but I always use riddles to help me find what I need.
To stop your shoes from smelling of mold, to stop your feet from growing cold, inside a drawer you shall peek to find that which you now seek. Ow! There's my socks!
Once you've collected 5 hearts, you unlock level 3, the Neverglades. The first very watery stage, where you'll find an old temple, an ancient tower full of sand, and a minigame where you try to collect more rings than the shadowy clones of yourself. 11 hearts will unlock the 4th level, Tempest Peak Manor, which is probably my favorite level of the game. It's a giant's house where you find hearts by playing as video games, going down the drain, and jumping inside the piano that for some reason has a dimension of jazz inside of it. Once you get 18 hearts, you unlock level 5, the Below. Now, if you thought the Neverglades was wet, this place is just a giant dome filled with water, with smaller domes inside with a different challenge in each one. And there's also a hole that leads straight to hell at the bottom. At this point, you'll need a lot more hearts to reach the next stage. So you might revisit old levels to get some hearts you missed, like the 100 shards or the soul jar hearts. But be careful, if you die at any point, you will lose all of the shards and soul jars you've collected. You may also try the sundial portals. They each lead to a platforming challenge, but they only open at certain times of the day, which you can change by spinning the sundial. But if you set it to nighttime, the enemies will all turn dark and get tougher. So if you want to make them a bit softer, just hop on the sundial and bring back the day. God, I wish I could do that in reality.
Hello?
Are you late for work?
Oh, really? Not late for work now, am I?
You realize that game has no effect on the real world, right?
How did you know what I was doing?
Illegal surveillance.
Oh.
You're fired.
Oh.
When you have 26 hearts, you'll see a cutscene where the floor in the hub rises up to a room where you and Darby find a woman named Rhea, who shoots Darby on sight. Then it reveals that Darby was actually Yabu in disguise the whole time, and he tricked Vexx into collecting the hearts to power the rift so that he could steal the key staff and open a portal to his own world. After Yabu escapes, Vexx decides to keep collecting hearts, which helps the bad guy because... After this cutscene, you will have access to the 6th level, Dagger Crag. This is where you start running into some of the more dangerous enemies in the game, like the orc things that all have shields, making them more annoying to fight. And some of them have ranged attacks, and what makes them even more annoying is a glitch that will occasionally make them unkillable. When this happens, you can't kill them, but they can still kill you. Speaking of enemies, this level has the most combat-focused challenges than any other stage in the game. In fact, there are only 5 combat challenges that you are rewarded with a heart for. A fight with the sumo wrestler in Timberdale, a rematch with the sumo wrestler in the Below that's different enough from the first fight so it's excusable, an elevator that rises higher and higher the more enemies you kill in Dagger Crag, a boss fight with the mummy, also in Dagger Crag, and a third one in Dagger Crag where you clear out all the monsters to help this guy who...
Are you alright over there? The monsters are dead. You can stop now. Alright, I'm just gonna wait down here on the floor till you're done. What am I doing with my life?
When you get 34 hearts, you unlock the 7th level, Summit of the Sages, which is basically Mount Rushmore, only you're allowed to go inside the factory that's apparently inside of President What's-His-Name's head, and blow up parts of the mountain in the name of your own ego. 42 hearts unlocks level 8, Frostblight Mill, a place with a giant windmill that you couldn't miss if you wanted to. Climbing to the top of this windmill is pretty challenging with all the monsters, rotating platforms, and things that blow you off the ledge, sending you falling to your death. And if that's too much for you, there's another entrance to hell in this place. So that's 2 hells in one game. Nice job, Vexx, you set a new record. When you have 50 hearts, you unlock the 9th and final level, the Citadel of Shadows. Here is where you find the toughest enemies, trickiest jumps, and deadliest traps in the entire game. With axe-wielding demons, these giant rings that take 3 of your 6 health points if you touch them, and bottomless pits everywhere. This stage was so difficult that I never got a single heart from it when I was a kid. But now that I'm an adult with nothing better to do... Ah! I got every heart, not just from here, but every heart in the game. And since you lose every shard and soul jar you have when you die, getting those 2 hearts here is a giant pain in the balls.
Why do my testicles hurt?
Every stage has one diary page hidden somewhere, and as far as I can tell, collecting them does nothing other than providing a little additional backstory. When you have 60 hearts, you will unlock the final battle against Yabu. As you enter the arena, Yabu will taunt you, then Vexx flips him off. And I am not even joking about that. He blows up his middle finger, then stands there with a stupid look on his face. Then Yabu summons a swarm of these crawly shadow guys that he calls and so the final battle begins with Yabu officially declaring himself the worst father of all time. For the first phase of the battle, you have to fight off 4 waves of
my children
while dodging the fireballs he throws into the air. After that, he summons more of
my children.
Then he absorbs them and turns into a giant spider demon that does 2 points of damage with each attack. You need to dodge his attacks by uppercutting straight into them. I don't know why this works, but I'll take it. Then hit him in the face with an uppercut, then another uppercut to his abdomen, then ground blast the amulet on his underside 5 times. After that, you absorb the power from his amulet and fight off one last wave of
my children.
Then he starts shooting fireballs at you from atop the pillars. You have to knock them back at him. Each one destroys the pillar he's standing on and breaks away part of the arena. After doing this several times, he gets hit by one, dies, and sinks into the ground, giving you a thumbs up for some reason, and drops the key staff. I also think it's worth mentioning that there are no checkpoints in this fight. If you die at any point, you have to start over from the waves of crawly shadow guys. With Yabu defeated, the place starts falling apart. Vexx takes the key staff and runs for the portal, but the path to it falls away, and Vexx throws the key staff through the portal to Rhea, sealing the rift and cutting the Shadow Realm off from Astara, and trapping himself in the Shadow Realm. Rhea monologues a little, then we find Vexx, still alive, surrounded by crawly shadow guys. He punches the cameraman, and credits roll.
And there you have it. That's Vexx for you. A decent Super Mario 64 clone. I would say great, but there were a few shortcomings that I noticed.
The hub is unimaginative, there's no special reward for 100% completion, the camera controls are inverted both vertically and horizontally, the camera can really suck sometimes, the power-ups weren't used to their fullest, each one is only needed for 3 hearts, and I'm still mad about the sumo wrestler flipping me off.
Okay, let's try that again.
It finds the legendary Astani War Talons. I think I already messed that up. Puzzles in each stage.